My name's Jodie Conduit and I'm a Professor of Marketing here at the Adelaide Business School. The research that I am really passionate about is research that engages communities or engages groups of people to help drive social purpose across a number of things. Where that passion comes from is actually a project that I did for the St Vincent de Paul Society, and found that we looked there at how we could enhance their volunteer engagement so that they could deliver more benefit through to society in what they do. What was interesting as well about what we did was Vinnie's is a Catholic organisation, and there's a real sense of spiritual engagement among their volunteers, and we tried to understand what that meant, but also how it could extend out to other volunteers that perhaps weren't as strongly associated with the Catholic Church. So at the time there was perhaps some barriers around the need for meetings during the day and meetings that were aligned with prayer and other aspects of spirituality, but extended out to how they could have a more welcoming culture of people from perhaps other faiths or non-religious people to still come in and connect spiritually with what they were doing and how they could help those people in need. And we felt that that just helped expand the member base, which is what we saw. The other thing that really came from this is during the period where we were doing the research, it was a period of crisis in the northern suburbs of South Australia, with some large organisations closing down and some high levels of unemployment, which meant that there was more people in need than what Vinnie's could deal with. So at the time, Vinnie's was seeing about 1,000 calls a week go unanswered from people that were in need, that wanted help from the St Vincent de Paul Society. The structure of how Vinnie's had its volunteer network was very much localised. We find that local groups of volunteers can help local people in need, but the volunteers in the northern suburbs of Adelaide just couldn't help. So we helped to establish a new framework, which they called their flying squads, of volunteers who were different from the norm, if you like. They were people that maybe worked full-time or weren't regular volunteers, but could just come in and help in those northern suburbs and really help to lift up the people in that community during a really hard time. The impact of that research meant that the number of volunteers that Vinnie's had increased over an 18-month period from about just over 2,000 to begin with to about 3,500. So we'd seen an increase of more than 50% in their volunteer base. That increase meant that they were, as an organisation, able to service more than 100,000 South Australians in need each year.